We live in a world that wants quick results, quick money, quick fame, quick success. But what if true greatness is building something you will never personally enjoy? This is the story of quiet legacy. There was a man in our town named Musa. Not the kind of man people gathered around. Not the kind of man who made loud speeches. Not the kind of man who dressed in expensive clothes or drove a shiny car. Just Musa, thin, quiet, always wearing the same faded cap. And every morning exactly a.m. he walked to the edge of town with a hoe in one hand and a small bag in the other. While most people were still stretching in bed. While some were rushing to beat traffic. While others were arguing over fuel prices and daily struggles. Musa was digging. The land he worked on wasn't beautiful. It was dry, dusty, ignored. It sat beside a long roadside where buses passed, motorcycles sped by, and traders shouted to attract customers. Nobody owned that land. Nobody cared about that land. Except Musa. Every morning, he would kneel, dig a small hole, place a seedling inside, cover it gently, pour water from his plastic container, and whisper something no one could hear. Then he would move to the next spot. Day after day, week after week, month after month, people noticed. Of course they noticed. How far, Baba Musa? The bus drivers would shout. Baba, government give you contract? Traders teased. Teenagers laughed openly. Old man, you won't turn this place to forest reserve? Musa would smile. Not the embarrassed kind of smile, not the defensive kind, a peaceful smile. And he would say the same sentence every time. I'm building shade. People laughed harder when he said that, because at that time, there was no shade, only small sticks poking out of dry soil. And truthfully, it looked pointless. Rain sometimes destroyed his work. Goats sometimes ate the young leaves. Children sometimes stepped on them without knowing. But the next morning, Musa returned, replanting, watering, adjusting, protecting. There was something stubborn about him, but not angry stubborn, hope stubborn. One day, a young boy named Tund stopped to watch him. Tund was about 17, sharp-tongued, full of opinions. The kind of boy who believed if something didn't pay immediately, it wasn't worth doing. He crossed his arms. Baba Musa, he said, why are you stressing yourself like this? Musa kept digging. These trees will take many, many years to grow. Still digging, you are already old. Musa paused slightly. You won't even enjoy the shade. Silence. That sentence hung in the air. Even the passing Okada rider seemed quieter. Musa slowly sat on his overturned bucket, wiped sweat from his forehead, and looked directly at Tund. Let me ask you something, he said gently. Tund shrugged. Ask. When you walk to school and stand under that big mango tree near the junction, did you plant it? No, when you sit under the tree at the mechanic workshop because the sun is too hot. Did you plant that one? No, when your mother sells pepper by the roadside and moves her table under the almond tree every afternoon. Did she plant it? Tund shifted uncomfortably. No, Musa nodded. Exactly, he leaned forward. Someone planted those trees before you were born. They may never have known your name. They may never have seen your face. But they still worked for your comfort. Tund had no quick reply this time. Musa continued. We are enjoying today because of sacrifices we did not see. He pointed toward the road. The school building you attend, did you build it? No, the road you ride on? No, the hospital? No, Musa smiled again. Then why should we refuse to build something good just because we won't be here to see it? That question followed Tund home that evening, and it followed him the next day, and the next. Meanwhile, the land slowly began to change. At first, the sticks grew leaves, small, fragile leaves. Then the leaves multiplied. Seasons passed. Dry season tried to weaken them. Rainy season tested their roots. Wind bent them. Dust covered them. But they stayed, stronger each year. The teenagers who once laughed grew older. Some left town. Some started businesses. Some forgot entirely about Musa's useless project. But Musa never forgot. Even when his back bent lower, even when his walk became slower, Even when his hands shook slightly while watering the roots, he kept coming, sometimes alone, sometimes with Tun because yes, one morning, Tun quietly showed up with an extra bottle of water. He didn't announce it, he didn't apologize for mocking, he just helped. And Musa noticed. They didn't talk much at first, just worked side by side. Dig, plant, water, cover. Over time, something powerful happened. The trees became tall. Not huge yet, but tall enough to cast small shadows. For the first time, someone stood under one of them and said, "Ah, small shade dawn day." And Musa heard it. He didn't turn around, but his smile widened. Years passed again. The trees stretched wider, branches extended across the roadside, leaves thickened. Now the shade was real. Bus drivers parked beneath them during breaks. Traders moved their tables closer. Children waited for school buses there. Okada riders rested there. The once empty land became alive. People stopped saying, "What is that old man digging?" Now they said, "Let's wait under the trees." The same trees. The same ones they laughed at. But time does something powerful. It reveals vision. One evening, Musa did not come. The next morning, he did not come. By afternoon, word spread quietly. Baba Musa had passed away in his sleep. No drama, no noise, just peaceful rest. The town felt strangely different the next morning. The trees stood tall, leaves dancing in the wind, unaware their planter was gone. At the roadside, people gathered under the shade as usual. A woman selling oranges said, "Thank God for this cool place." A bus driver replied, "Nah, that old man work be this." Tun stood there silently, now grown, now mature. He placed his hand on one of the tree trunks. Rough bark, strong, alive. And in that moment, he understood something fully. Impact is not always immediate. Legacy is not always loud. Sometimes the greatest thing you can do is something you will never benefit from personally. The trees kept growing. Years later, that roadside became the most comfortable waiting point in town. Vendors preferred it. Students gathered there. Elderly people sat there in the evenings telling stories. And sometimes, when the sun was especially hot, someone would say, "God bless whoever planted these trees." Most of them never knew Musa's name, but they were living inside his decision. You see, we live in a generation that wants quick results, instant success, immediate reward. If it doesn't pay now, we quit. If it doesn't trend now, we stop. If it doesn't benefit us directly, we ignore it. But Musa taught something different. He taught that true greatness thinks beyond self. True vision thinks beyond lifetime. Some of you listening right now, you are planting something. You are building something. You are praying for something. You are sacrificing for something. And maybe you won't see the full result. Maybe someone else will. But that does not make your effort useless. It makes it powerful. Because when you plant a tree, you are making a statement. You are saying, "I believe tomorrow deserves preparation." You are saying, "Even if I don't sit under this shade, someone will." Musa never trended, never went viral, never received an award. But every afternoon when the sun hits hard and tired workers sit beneath those trees, his work speaks. And maybe that's what real success looks like. Not applause, not recognition, but impact. So let me ask you something. What are you planting? Are you planting bitterness? Or are you planting kindness? Are you planting shortcuts? Or are you planting discipline? Are you planting noise? Or are you planting value? Because one day, someone will live inside the result of what you planted. Just like we live inside the sacrifices of those before us. Musa planted trees he knew he would never sit under. And in doing so, he sat under something greater. Purpose. Sometimes the greatest impact you will ever make is for people you will never meet. Decide to make an impact in your world today. By leaving a legacy you will always be remembered for. But here is something most people never realized about Musa. The trees were not the only thing he planted. He planted perspective. Before Musa, people walked past that empty land without seeing it. After Musa, people began to see possibility. Young boys who once mocked him started discussing business ideas under those same trees. Women who sold by the roadside began saving small money to expand their stalls. A mechanic nearby decided to train apprentices for free. It was subtle, but something shifted. Because when you watch someone consistently build something that does not immediately reward them, it challenges you. It forces you to ask yourself uncomfortable questions. What am I building? Who will benefit from my life? Will my absence remove anything valuable from this world? You see, Musa never preached long sermons. He never gathered crowds. But every morning at a.m., his consistency preached louder than words. Consistency is a language. Sacrifice is a language. And legacy is fluent in both. There is something powerful about people who think beyond their own comfort. They make decisions today that protect tomorrow. They endure laughter today that produces gratitude tomorrow. And the truth is, many people never start planting because they are afraid of being laughed at. They don't start the business. They don't go back to school. They don't forgive. They don't invest. They don't build. Because someone might say, "What's the point?" But the real question is not, "What's the point?" The real question is, what happens if nobody plants? What happens if everyone waits for someone else? What happens if we only act when we personally benefit? Then the future becomes dry, empty, like that land once was. Musa understood something many people miss. You don't plant because it's convenient. You plant because it's necessary. And sometimes the reason you are uncomfortable today is because you are creating comfort for someone tomorrow. That is not loss. That is leadership. So here's what I want to leave you with. One day, years from now, someone will enjoy something that exists because of you. They may never know your name. They may never see your face. But they will sit in your shade. The question is not whether time will pass. Time will pass anyway. The question is, when it does, will there be trees standing because you were here? Or will there be empty ground? Plant something, even if you will never sit under it, because sometimes the greatest proof that you lived is the comfort others feel long after you're gone. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. God bless you.